What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off in local news, former President Ma Ying-jeou is heading to China. He will be there from March 27th to April 7th. Ma will become the first leader of Taiwan to travel to China since the Communist Party took control in 1949. Ma is a senior figure in Taiwan's main opposition Kuomintang, the party that ruled China before the Communists won the Chinese Civil War. The party supports closer ties between Taiwan and China. In 2015, during his second term, Ma met with China's President Xi Jinping in Singapore, the first meeting of leaders from the two sides since 1945. It's unclear if Ma will meet with Chinese officials during this upcoming trip, as Beijing is not on his itinerary. Since Ma left office, Taiwan's ties with China have soured. Beijing views Taiwan as part of its territory. Taiwan's government says it is an independent country. Meanwhile, Xi plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Monday. It will be Xi's first trip to Russia since the country invaded Ukraine last year. The trip is aimed at promoting bilateral ties between the two countries. The trip is scheduled to last 2 days. According to a statement from Beijing, the visit will be a journey of friendship, cooperation, and peace. China has been trying to position itself as a neutral party following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But in the past, China has repeated Russian propaganda, such as accusing NATO and the United States of provoking Moscow into taking action. For more on what to expect from the meeting between the Russian and Chinese leaders, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Matthew Sussex, a security analyst with the Griffith Asia Institute based in Sydney, Australia.
Can you talk about the significance of this trip?
Yeah, look, it's very significant that Xi is going to Moscow to visit Putin on a number of levels. The first level, I think, is to, send a note of reassurance to the government in Russia that Beijing continues to provide, a degree of support for Russia's position, if not the actual invasion of Ukraine, then Russia's position vis-a-vis NATO, vis-a-vis the United States, and so on. So Beijing has quite consistently provided that rhetorical support to the Kremlin. And the question is now whether or not that translates into something a little bit more formal and a bit more material. There have been some reports over about the last 48 hours that China has been engaged in sending body armor and even small arms to Russia. Now, that's probably not the game changer that many would think about when they look at whether China is abandoning the sort of straddle diplomacy between the West and Russia. But nonetheless, I think it's a fairly significant development.
What is Beijing trying to accomplish with this trip? Is it trying to take steps towards brokering a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine?
It depends very much as to how far Xi is prepared to go in propping up Putin and propping up this frankly failing war, which will be, I think, a test of the robustness of the sort of no-limits partnership between Moscow and Beijing. I think Beijing very much wants to sell its 12-point peace plan, and that basically has carrots and sticks for all sides. It's got sticks for Russia with the expectation from China that nuclear weapons won't be used, that nuclear power plants will be kept safe, but also having a stab at the United States by saying the formation of blocs is unhealthy, sanctions should be wound back, and so forth. So at the very least, this is a document from Beijing to cement Russia's control over large portions of Ukraine. So now that's what's going on behind the scenes. In terms of the optics of it, I think Beijing is probably looking to kickstart a little bit of international enthusiasm in its peace plan, because it was received in a decidedly lukewarm way.
That was Matthew Sussex, a security analyst with the Griffith Asia Institute, speaking to our reporter Jaime Ocon. In related news, China and Russia have wrapped up 4 days of naval drills in the Gulf of Oman. Iran also participated in the exercises, which ran from Thursday to Sunday. This was the first time the drills were included in the three countries' Marine Security Belt initiative. The operation is meant to strengthen cooperation between the three nations. It is expected to become an annual event. Meanwhile, Russia's president made a surprise visit to the Ukrainian city of Mariupol over the weekend. It was Putin's first trip to Russia's newly occupied territory in Ukraine since the start of the war last year. Mariupol fell to Russia in May. It was Russia's first major military victory in Ukraine after it failed to seize the capital of Kyiv and focused instead on the southeast of the country. The Kremlin says Putin visited on Saturday. Reports of his trip come just days after the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. The Russian president is accused of war crimes and of illegally deporting hundreds of children from Ukraine. Back in Taiwan, the water level in Sun Moon Lake has dropped 3.5 meters in just 2 weeks, as a months-long drought shows no signs of easing. It's another symptom of the country's ongoing water shortage, which could become Taiwan's worst drought in more than 75 years. The lack of rainfall is being linked to La Nina, a weather phenomenon that has brought lower temperatures to the Pacific west of South America and more extreme conditions to Taiwan. This could make cycles of prolonged droughts and extreme flooding more frequent in the future.
去年的年底到今年年初这段时间，反声音的讯号已经开始慢慢的减弱了，所以在未来的这几个月，这个地球的声音现象会逐渐步入正常的这一个区间，所以反声音的现象现在这个时间点是正在结束。
Many businesses are still dealing with the after effects of the pandemic, especially here in Asia, which reopened later than much of the world. But now tourists are returning, and one coffee shop in Japan has found foreigners lining up at its doors thanks to TikTok. Louise Watt reports.
With rapid right-hand swoops, 80-year-old Mori Shizuo serves about 50 puddings a day in his small Tokyo coffee shop. These flings of the arm help dislodge the custard from the tin. It's a technique that has earned him a worldwide audience via videos his customers spread on TikTok and other social media.
お客さんがこう映してるとか見せてくれるから、あ、こういうものかっていうのは分かります。ね、お客さんがみんな私がテレビ出たりしてると、それをこうなってますっていうふうに教えてくれ、かつまた見せてくれるから、そういう点では分かるかな。
Mori's been surprised by his social media fame and the lines of foreigners queuing up outside his coffee shop now that Japan has lifted its pandemic border restrictions.
I saw it on TikTok and it seemed like a very nice local story. And to be honest, I'm a big cream caramel fan.
Japan, like Taiwan, reopened to tourists in October. In March, Japan's tourism agency said that visitor numbers broke 1 million for a third straight month in February. But that's still down 43% from before the pandemic. Like many, Mori struggled through the pandemic. Now, thanks to social media, his coffee shop is recovering. He's just sorry that, with all his new fans, there aren't enough puddings to go around. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is a scuba diving hotspot, and there are many places in the country that offer licensing programs, but one of them is not like the others. Leslie Liao has more.
Scuba diving and the ocean go together like butter and toast. But what about taking the plunge in an aquarium? Well, get your flippers out, because there's a facility on Taiwan's outlying Penghu Islands that lets you do just that.
这次的活动呢，就是可以让我们呢一般的民众呢，可以下水跟大型的海洋生物互动啊，或者是亲密的一个感觉。
Don't have a scuba diving license? No problem, because this aquarium has a special program where visitors can get their credentials in the aquarium. People can sign up for a 4-day course and learn how to scuba dive with a professional instructor. Seeing rare marine animals is all up to luck when you dive in the ocean. But when you jump into a tank with those animals, you leave a lot less up to chance and can focus on just having a rippling good time. Leon Lian and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese archers have won 2 gold medals in the opening stage of this year's Asia Cup. The host of this year's event is National Taiwan Sport University in the northern city of Taoyuan. Taiwan won the women's recurve team event, while Taiwan's Ling Jiaryu claimed gold in the individual women's recurve event. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.